Hi everyone, it's Jess, aka Colouring Bumblebee, and I'm back today with you with another video. Today I've decided to go through all of my spring themed pages in my colouring book collection. This was completely inspired by Connie from Colouring Chemist, who recently did a video on all the spring pages she could find, so I give complete credit to her for inspiring me to make this video, and she did give me permission to do so, so thank you, Connie. I hope you all enjoy the video, and let's get straight into it. First up, I've got books which have specific spring sections, or in the case of this book, Matchstick Mouse, a springtime colouring book, are completely spring themed. So any page in this book could be classed as a spring page. You'll get a little sneak peek of some of the pages I've already coloured in here. So yeah, every single page in here is perfect for springtime colouring. So first up, I've got books which contain specific spring-themed sections, or the whole book is themed to spring, like this one, Matchstick Mouse, a springtime colouring book by Morgan O'Brien. Every single page in this book is related to spring, so it would be perfect to colour at this time of year. You can see a little sneak peek of some of the pages I've already coloured in this one. Yeah, that's Matchstick Mouse, a springtime colouring book. Then we've got Seasons by Hannah Carlson, and there is a whole spring section in this book. This one's right at the beginning. I've done a few coloured pages from this section already. I've really done, this is one of my favourite pages on the book. I really need to colour this one. So lots of really cute pages, perfect for colouring during the springtime. And that's the end of the spring section. That was Hannah Carlson's Seasons book. Then I've got Boule de Pois by Diane Defoe, and this is another one with a spring section in it. I need to go find it now. So all of the seasonal sections start with this diamond-shaped image, and that marks the start of each of the seasons. So this is the start of the spring section, and there's loads of super cute pages in here. Definitely want to colour a bunch of pictures from this year for springtime. Lots and lots of cute pictures. And then that's the start of the summer section. That was Boule de Pois by Diane Defoe. Then we've got Rita Berman's Mein Spaziergang durch die Jahreszeiten. And if you've got the spring version of her book, this contains some of the pages from that book, but is a compilation of all the seasonal books. So I will just do a quick flip of the spring section. I think it ends here. This was a whip from last year. I was really motivated to colour it, did all the leaves, did these purple flowers, then I kind of gave up. I would like to come back and finish this maybe this year. We'll see. So yeah, lots of spring pages to colour in here. That's the spring section of the Seasons book by Rita Berman. Then in Die Welt unter der Lupe Zoolander by Rita Berman, there's also a bit of a spring section. At least what I class as spring. I think it starts with this little posy here, and I think all of these are quite spring images. The flowers, whipping that one, butterflies, and I believe that's the start of the summer section. but you could colour some of these in a more spring colour palette, and that would also go for spring. That was Die Welt unter der Lupe Zulande. And we have Year of Witches by Usiku. And this again has a whole spring section. These ones start off with a selection of spring witch essentials. So all these like mini illustrations. I think this one's really sweet. I'd love to colour it. Yeah, this one's got a few lovely spring images. I really love this chickens one. And this one is so cute with the bus stop. And the beehives. I just love Usiku. And that's the start of the summer section for Year of Witches. And moving on to some of my international books from Japan. We've got the Wild Mouse Yururi's Journey sketchbook. And this again has a spring section right at the start. I think this is my favourite section from this book. I do love colouring in spring. Either spring or autumn is my favourite season of colouring. I think by the time I get to the end of winter, I've had enough and I just want to colour spring themed pages with all the bright colours again. There we go, so that's all the spring pages in Wild Mouse Yururi's. And then I've also got the bunny book from the same publishing company. This one is called Usagi-san's Fairy Tale Fantasy Picture Book. And it is by Kotoli, I think. And this has a section, I translated this, and it means Fairy Garden in Spring. So all of these pictures are themed to spring. I still haven't coloured in this book. Maybe this season will be the time I finally start. This is one of my favourite double spreads in the book. I love colouring strawberries. I love colouring plant pots. I think I should colour that. And then we move on to the summer section. So that was the Fairy Tale Fantasy Picture Book. And then I've just recently received a few books from Korea. I ordered on Aladdin, and this one is called Colouring Book for a Bright Day Together by Stella Park. And this one is also split up into seasons. I went ahead and translated all these. So the first section is Let's Say a Friendly Hello to Spring. And this is one where it has pictures on the left for you to be inspired to colour on the right. And some really, really sweet spring-themed pictures. I cannot wait to get started in this book. The paper is super thick. And the line art is super cute. I haven't fully broken the book in yet, so it's a bit hard to flip through. I absolutely love this one. Might be one of the first ones I colour in here. Nice easy one to get me started. And then we go into the summer section. So that was the Colouring Book for a Bright Day Together by Stella Park. And then this one is the Spring Sunshine Colouring Book by Jeon Seon Jin. And pretty much all of the pictures in here are themed to spring. Each of the pages are named after a different flower, which I think is really cute. But it's not just flowers in the images. There's lots of different animals, scenes. Love the bees. Yeah, another book I cannot wait to get started in. Love these little ducks. How cute are they? Part 2 is also spring themed. This is the cover image. I love these little squirrels. Oh my gosh, look at the lambs. I love lambs. It's one of my favourite things about spring starting, seeing all the lambs out in the fields near where I live. And then we move into more summery pages. So this was the Spring Sunshine Book by Seon Jeon Jeon Seon Jin. Sorry about that. So those were all of my books that have specific spring themed sections in them. Now I'm moving on to general books which have images that I think relate to spring. So there's a load more books to come. The first book I have to show you is Mine Rise Dirt Europa by Rita Berman, and I found quite a lot of pages in here that could be related to spring. I thought we've got the florals on this side, and this could be coloured like a beautiful spring picnic. I'm thinking maybe pink trees for the springtime. I highlighted these pages. I just saw Tonya Colours colour this one on Instagram, and she did a beautiful spring colour palette, but I also think that Paris in the springtime is also quite classic, and you could use a lovely colour scheme on that one. These could both be coloured quite spring-like. I think I've coloured them in quite a spring-like colour scheme as well. The swan and the river. This reminds me of a local town near me who has beautiful canals through it, and bridges and florals. It just gives me spring vibes, this one. And then I flagged pretty much all of the pictures in the Amsterdam section, as they are famous for their tulips, which bloom in the springtime. So we've got these ones, these two which I've already coloured, and the bouquet and sort of mandala design. And that was it from this book. There are many others that you could colour in a spring colour theme palette, but I just selected those for ones that gave me particularly spring vibes. So that's Mine Rise Dirt Europa. Then we have the Asian book by Rita Berman. A few more in this one as well. This one I think is super spring and something I would definitely want to colour this season. I was going to colour this page last year, but I just never got round to it. So I need to make sure that I colour this one. I'd love to do both actually, but we'll see about that this year. And I picked these florals. I thought they looked quite spring-like, sort of daisies at the bottom, a little butterfly, quite spring. Then we have some more blossoms on this page, perfect for springtime. And we have this floral heart, which you could do in spring colour palette. That was everything from the Asian book by Rita Berman. And the last Rita Berman book I have is the Africa one. And I see this as more of a summary book with all the African safari animals in it, but there are some very pretty spring-like florals in it, like this double page. And also this page with the little beehive and all the flowers surrounding the hut. I thought was quite spring-like. So that was all of my Rita Berman spring-themed pages. Then I found one specifically spring page in Small Victories, and that is, of course, the spring-themed wreath. I would love if Joanna Basford came out with a spring-themed book, I think. Not a spring thing, but a seasonal themed book. I think that would be awesome, with different sections for each of the seasons. I think these 4 wreaths really show the sort of different styles that she can showcase in that book. But yeah, this spring wreath, obviously perfect for spring. There are plenty other floral pages in here that you could colour in a spring colour palette, but that was the one I picked out specifically as spring themed from Small Victories. Then I've got Lunar Therapy by Diane Dufour. This one I have yet to colour in. And there's quite a few florally pages in here which you could say is spring. I'm not sure if I picked out necessarily all of them, but I just picked out a few that gave me the spring vibes. This one with the florally wreath. This one with like April showers I think is super cute. I'd love to colour that one. And I've got another spring sort of florally leafy design. And the last one I've got highlighted is this beautiful Japanese cherry blossoms. Oh no, I've got one more. There's a page tag hiding behind. I thought this one with the apple trees and the rose trees, I suppose you could colour it in an autumn style, but I don't know, something about watering cans and seeing farmers just gives me spring vibes. So that was everything I found in Nuno Therapy. Then I've got the books by Konoko Agusa. Sadly, I have yet to colour a page in any of these books that I've got by her. First one I found was this gorgeous double page spread with the lambs and the daffodils. Super spring vibes in this one. We've got the Easter double page spread, which I showcased before. This cute one, which really reminds me of Peter Rabbit. The mice hiding in the little tulips. We've got Mr. Fogarty style character, like in R.J. Hampson, and we've got the little ducklings hiding in the garden with all the watering cans. The little critters with the umbrellas, perfect for April showers. The ducklings and the young frogs in the pond, and we've got little baby pigs. Looks like it's about to have a shower. That's so funny. This gorgeous spread here, sort of wallpaper design, but I think this would be fun to colour because it's not very repetitive. There's a few, actually there's nothing repeating here. They're all different little images. I think that would be really fun and cute to colour. And we've got the little baby animals hiding in the teacups. This is so, so sweet. And the final page I've selected was this duck page. And those dormice hiding in sort of a, almost like plant lab it looks like, with daffodils. Another spring sort of page. Oh, not finally, this is finally. Yeah, that's the last tag. Got the birds in the nest, super spring, and the baby fawn with, looks like daddy deer. So those were all of the spring theme pages I found in Symphony of Cute Animals by Konoko Agusa. Then the only other book I've got by her so far is Kingdom of Curious Creatures. Another book with plenty of spring theme pages in it. We've got this one with all the daffodils and the ducks. We've got the young lambs, or could be, actually I think they're young goats. Oh my gosh, look at that one. Look at that face, that's so cute. And all the spring themed flowers around it. This page with the tulips, the bunny, the ducks. This lovely double page spread with the ducklings following the mama duck and all of the daisies. I imagine lots of bright, happy colours on this page. We got the baby birds wanting food from the mummy. Doesn't look like she's got any at the moment, so they're probably going to be a bit upset. And also the little sort of chipmunk looking characters climbing into the tree. And I think these baby kittens look quite spring as well on the opposite page. We've got this page with the lovely bunny rabbits and spring florals around. Another one I really want to colour. I love colouring brick walls for some reason and watering cans. This, I think, is my favourite spread from the book. I would love to colour this. Not sure if I will get the time, but I am going to try and colour it this season. Got sort of Red Riding Hood character through the spring forest with all the different critters. Absolutely adore this page. Then we have this Japanese spring page. Got irises, blossoms, and little bunny in the kimono. Very sweet. And finally, I found this page with the young animals. Look how sad that one is. Bless him. And the spring florals. So that was everything I found in Kingdom of Curious Creatures by Kanoko Agusa. Moving on to books by Melpomene Chattopadhyay. We've got Circle of Life. I found a few spring-themed pictures in here. We've got the sort of life cycle of a sunflower. So definitely these early ones are very spring-themed. I would say sunflowers are more summer, autumn themed, but the idea of it growing gives me spring vibes. Once again, another life cycle page. We've got the caterpillar turning into the chrysalis, turning into the butterfly. I think this is a really sweet page. And another one showing the sort of development of a cocoon. Very sweet. And another sort of life cycle-y one. We've got the hens with the baby chicks in the nest of eggs. These baby chicks are so sweet. I also think this opposite page could be coloured quite spring-like with the mama duck and the baby ducklings following her in the water. Gives quite a spring vibe. And then we have birds with the nest of eggs. You always get baby animals in the springtime, which is why I found a lot of pictures with either babies or nests with eggs in. And again, another life cycle one. We've got the life cycle for frog with the frog spawn, tadpole turning into a frog. And that was the last one I found in this book. Then we also have Nature Mandalas by Melpomene Chattopadhyay. First page I found in here is this one. Lots of spring florals in here. It looks super pretty in sort of pastel-y colours, I think. We got the cocoons and the butterflies. Could be coloured quite spring-like. I thought these florals looked quite spring-like as well. Then we have the life cycle of the daffodil, starting off as a bulb and going into the flower. Super spring this page. And finally, the one with the bunnies. I always associate rabbits with springtime. And that was all I found from Nature Mandalas that gave me particular spring vibes. Moving on next, I've got my mythographic collection. Starting with Mythographic Paradise. This is another uncoloured book for me. And I found a couple in here which were spring themed, in my opinion. We got the tulip fields and the windmills, like you get in Amsterdam. Nice and spring themed. We've got birds and the cherry blossom. And then we have, I think bees remind me of springtime. And as you should know, I love bees, so this is another lovely spring page. And that's everything from Mythographic Paradise. This one's by Fabiana Attanasio. Then we've got Mythographic Voyage. This one's by Joseph Kattenbang. Another few pages in this book. This one gave me quite spring vibes, not sure why. I think it's all the florals. And it looks kind of like they've just bloomed, which is why I selected this one. We got this one with all the cocoons, the caterpillar growing. Gives me the idea of spring. And we got the page with the hydrangeas, the little frog, I think this also reminded me of spring as well. This would look really lovely coloured. That was everything from Mythographic Voyage by Joseph Katzenbang. Then we have Mythographic Menagerie by Fabiana Attanasio. I found 2 pages in here. First one being this bird design with the cherry blossoms and the petals growing out of it. I think this is a really fun page. Love to colour that one. And then I have these 2 rabbits. This is, I think, the next mythographic page I want to colour. I have such an idea for it. But yeah, this one gives me spring vibes as well. That was everything from Mythographic Menagerie. And the final mythographic I found spring pages for was Aviary by Joseph Katzenbang. And I found a few in this one. This lady with hugging the bird in the nest. Nests give me spring vibes. Idea of new birth. The hen with all the chicks around it. I like this one that's covered up mostly by an egg. That's really cute. And this one, April showers vibes, girl getting covered by the bird wing in the rain. And finally, this one, the stag with all the blossoms covering its antlers. Super adorable. That was everything from Aviary by Joseph Katzenbang. Need to pop this pile away and I'll get another pile of books ready in just a moment. Okay, I've got my next stack of books ready. I thought I'd go through all the Japanese themed books. First up I got Romantic Country by Erie, and her books contain so many different spring theme pages. These were just the few that I had picked out. Got the sheep grazing in the field on this one. Not sure why, but I associate afternoon tea with the springtime, also summertime, but I think of afternoon tea starting up again in England in the springtime. Again, this one giving afternoon tea vibes. This one I think looks quite a lot like a spring-themed forest. Girl on the swing, looks like she's swinging in the spring. This little picnic scene I thought reminded me of the springtime. And again, the idea of afternoon tea starting up again in the spring. And finally in this book we've got the gardening shelves and also the laundry, as it's getting to be the right kind of weather to start hanging your laundry outside to dry. That was everything from Romantic Country, that's the first tale. Then we've got plenty more in the second tale. I thought this church with all the florals outside reminded me of the springtime. The Baby and Mother Dear. Oh, I've missed one back here. Oh yes. We've got the gardening workshop and also the page opposite I've already coloured with the windmills and the tulip fields. We've got the duck and the little fairy sitting on top with all the florals outside. This gorgeous spring cart with a girl holding the, what do we call this? Flower chain? I'm not sure. And Manon's flowers. I think always, all of these spreads with Manon's Flower Shop always remind me of the springtime. That was the second tail. And of course, I've got the third tail here with me. Several in here. We've got the garden workshop with lots of bulbs ready to go out and be planted. Manon's Flower Shop. I thought this scene looked quite spring-like. Sort of spring picnic with a little baby deer. I think this cottage looks quite spring-like. I am actually colouring this with Jodie from JI Colourist next month. Of course, this page, Spring Has Come, gives off spring vibes with the idea of dancing around the maypole. I definitely want to colour this in May. Got this flower fairy, looks super spring and magical. And that was everything from this book. So that was Romantic Country, the third tale. Then I've got Erie's World Heritage book. And I found a few pages in this one. We've got the cute swans with the blossoms falling from the sky here. This cute girl walking up to looking like a spring-themed cottage with all the plant pots and the bunnies surrounding her. And we have the tea room page, which I think looks quite spring-like. And then we have this one where she's walking out on a bridge across the water. I don't know, that gives me spring vibes, not sure why. And finally for this book, we've got these spring-looking drawings on like a notebook page for these spring items. Yeah, that was World Heritage by Erie. And I've got Erie's World Legends book. Found a few in here. Lots of floral themed fairies in this book. Got the one with tulips. We got this, not sure what this is, if it's like a little cart or something, with all the petals and the cherry blossoms around. And the fairies sitting on the leaves of the flowers. Interesting, like spring nighttime scene this would be. You got all the clovers and the blossoms outside the house on this page. And picking daisies on the opposite page. Then we have this double page spread of all the different floral fairies. And finally for this book, we've got the magical unicorn, which looks like it's in a spring setting. There's a bunny, lots of flowers, and Easter eggs in the tree, which is a bit unusual, but looks like it'll be fun to colour. So that was everything from her Legends book. And the final Erie book I have to show is the World Literature book. I thought this one with the hare and the tortoise looked quite spring-like. This one with Narcissus looking at his reflection in the water and falling in love with himself, with all the daffodils around it, very spring. This double page spread of all the sisters from Little Women just reminds me of a spring garden. All the plant pots, little chicks down here, picking flowers, watering can. Yeah, really pretty page. And the one next to it, this sort of wallpaper with like the pictures of each of them, I think reminds me of spring with all the flowers as well. Then we've got this one. Not sure who this is meant to be. Could be Heidi or something like that. Not sure. But they are sitting outside in a spring-looking field. No, this one's Heidi, with all the mountains, all the flowers, little goats. And then we have some Anne of Green Gables pages with clovers, spring flowers, and the opposite page looking quite spring as well. Yeah, that was all I found in the World Literature book by Erie. Then as I was going through my Japanese books, I realised I forgot to include seasonal wreaths of plants and friends in my collection of books that have specific spring sections. This has a whole spring section at the front, so I will just flick through it for you quickly. I love this book. So many different spring florals. Got an Easter page. Lots of different spring florals, but not just florals. It's got other items for you to colour as well. It's got a tea salon. See, it's not just me that thinks of afternoon teas as spring. Lots of different flowers on that page. Cute little me. Buttercups. And then we move into summer. So that was the Seasonal Wreaths of Plants and Friends. This one is by Mikiko Inotome. Yes. Then in the same colouring book series, we've got this one by Sayuri Kobayashi, and I believe it is Journey Through Fairy Tales with My Little Friends from the Forest. And there are lots of pages in here that I think could be seen as spring. This one of Little Red Riding Hood going through the spring forest. I think this next page also looks quite spring with the little ducks, the swan. This double page, another beautiful spring page. This is an interesting creature, the cat butterfly, which is also wearing trousers, it looks like, and a hedgehog ladybug. We've got this double page with a more wallpapery spring floral pattern on this side, and some cute critters playing in the forest. This Snow White themed page. Looks like she's walking through a spring forest with all the 7 dwarfs, or in this case 7 birds. Then we have this spring looking bird flying through the florals. And this page, a bit of a patterny page, but there's some spring looking images inside the hexagons. Got florals, bunnies, chicks, patterns, raindrops. And finally, oh, I keep knocking my pencils. Finally, these 2 pages I think both look quite spring. Looking out of a window and giving each other a nice little hug at the end. So yeah, that was all the spring pages I could find in this book. Journey Through Fairy Tales with My Little Friends from the Forest. And I've got the Bear and the Wonderful Town. This one is by Nakao Chiwaka. Hope I have, well, I attempted to pronounce it. I'm not sure if it's right. This double page spread gave me spring cleaning vibes. I thought it was very appropriate for this season. This one with the train and the rainbow. I always associate rainbows with spring, as you've got lots of sun as well as lots of showers, especially here in the UK. This double page, we've got more of a plant room on this side and a more floral room on this side. Both give off the spring vibes. These spring floral wreaths. I thought this little bunny sewing looked quite spring-like. And this double page of what looks to be a very spring town street. Yeah, that was all I could find in Bear and the Wonderful Town. And I've got Colours Make You Happy by Miki Takai. This is volume 2. And I found a few spring pages in here. This one with all the birds and the eggs and the nests and the birdhouses gives me the spring vibes. This one with the girl sitting on the tulip. And this really adorable one with all the bunnies, tulips, flowers, very spring-like. That was everything from the second Colours Make You Happy book. And then I have the Colours Make You Happy volume 3. Found a few more spring pages in this one. Thought this one with the apple and all the animals around the outside looked quite spring-like. And then all the flower fairies. These little piglets, quite spring-like. And we've got the Easter eggs and the cute couple of bunnies. Maybe they're getting married or something, but we've got these like clover leaves, daisies all around it, giving me the spring vibes. So yeah, that was everything from Colours Make You Happy volume 3. Need to pop this stack of books away and I'll get my next stack ready. Right, the next stack of books I've got are all my hardcover books, starting with Hannah Carlson's Daydreams. There is this bunny page, which I have already coloured, that I think looks quite spring-like. We've got these birds with the blossoms, and the spring-like page. And this bird with the nest. See, those are the ones that specifically called out spring to me. Now, even though this is called Summer Nights, I do think there are some pages in here which lean more heavily towards springtime. We've got this frog and the lady putting her hand down. I think all these florals look kind of like little blossoms. We got this bird with the flowers, I think looked quite springish to me. This one definitely gives me spring vibes rather than summer vibes. Sort of the bird shielding the little baby mice in the rain, maybe during April. Love that page. And then this bunny in a frame here. That was spring pages I found in Summer Nights by Hannah Carlson. Then I've got Tales from the Forest Kingdom. Found a few spring looking pages in here. This florally fairy with the butterfly. We've got what looks to be Red Riding Hood with a little chick. This lady holding the 2 rabbits. And we've got the 2 bunnies on this page. I think you colour that in quite a spring colour scheme, and I think this one also looks quite spring. The lady with the snail shell and holding the flowers. So that was all the spring pages from Forest Kingdom. The final Hannah Carlson book I have to show is Tales from the Witch's Cottage. I've thought these 3 flowers and the bunny with wings in the bush of flowers look quite spring. The spring looking cottage and a floral in the frame. And then we've got one quite near the back. Yes, I thought this well looked quite spring-like. But for a lot of these, depending on the colour scheme you could use, you could make any of these pages look spring or summer or winter, just depending on the colour scheme you use. And I thought these plant pots looked quite spring-like, despite all the little cute bats dotted around. So that was everything from the Hannah Carlson books I own. Then we've got Myriad Trolls Botanicum. Found quite a few in here. This is another book where there's so many florals, you could say a lot of them are to do with spring, but these were the ones that jumped out to me. You got the bird and the bees in the flower scene there, and this flower scene also looks quite spring-like. We've got this little wreath and the lady holding the little baby deer with these spring flowers around the outside, some daffodils. I think this one is really sweet. We've got the Easter Bunny with the eggs. I'm going to keep this tag in as I want to colour that page. And the nest of eggs with some spring flowers around it. The lady, or the little girl I should say, hiding in a flower. These are tulips. We've got the girl hugging the bumblebee and the birds chilling in the nest. Another page of bird with a nest. This bunny gives me spring vibes, and also this little house with the beautiful floral garden in front of it. This little duckling, or it could be a baby swan from the swans on the opposite page, depending on how you colour it. I think I'd probably colour it as a little duckling because, yeah, I think the pastel yellow will look really cute on that page. Then we've got a spring-looking greenhouse with the watering can outside the front. Little baby mouse there. We've got the unicorn sitting in some spring-looking florals. And finally for this book, the two bunnies sitting among some hydrangeas and daisies. Beautiful spring pages that you can find in Botanicum. And the only other Myriad Troll book I've got is her Universe book. So this contains a collection of illustrations from all of her books apart from the latest one, the Fallen Star book. I thought this one with the washing line and the little houses look quite spring-like, and you've got sort of daffodils looking here. The lady with tulips in her hair, this one's from Moon Valley. This little bird, and also the bird cage, I thought also both look quite spring. This one's from Universe, that one's from Twilight Garden. Another little bunny, this is exclusive to Universe. Another couple of bunnies. This one I showed you in Botanicum already, and this one I've already coloured, and it's from Luna. And finally for this book, we've got this Mama Mouse holding all her little babies, and oh my gosh, isn't this just the cutest page from Twilight Garden? So those are all of my Maria Trolle books. Then I've got a couple of Colouring Heaven pocket-size editions. This one's Magic Jars, and there's quite a few pages in here that I thought looked quite spring-like. These bunnies in the mushroom house. The little ducks wearing raincoats and having umbrellas on a rainy day. This one is so cute. The bees give me spring vibes. Love that page. This little mouse hiding in the teacup with all the flowers around it. Another page with lots of rain in it. Reminds me of the April showers. Another rainy page. This one's got an adorable little elephant in it. And this Bunny in the Tree House page. This one is Christina's Art Corner's page to colour from this book for the month of March. Oh no, I need to leave that tag in to remind myself to colour it. And I have one more. This mouse hanging up the washing. Just reminds me that now's the sort of time where we can start hanging our washing outside to dry again. That was everything from the Magic Jars Pocket Edition from Colouring Heaven. Then just yesterday I got this book, Happy Moments, made by Colouring Heaven Pocket Size. I found a few spring pages in this one. This one, Today's Rain Leads to Tomorrow's Garden. The idea of April showers bring May flowers. I coloured this one yesterday just after I got the book. I couldn't help myself. Without rain, there's no rainbow. This one looks like they're playing in a beautiful spring garden. New beginnings are definitely associated with spring, with all the new wildlife that's being born, flowers that are finally starting to grow again. And this adorable one of a bunny in a wheelchair. To plant a garden is to dream of tomorrow. And we do lots of planting in the springtime. And then I thought this little bunny with the daisy chain, social butterfly, really reminded me of spring as well. Yeah, that was all the spring pages from Happy Moments. Then I found a few specifically spring pages in Matchstick Mouse Floral Colouring Book by Morgan O'Brien. I just picked out a few that specifically said spring to me. This one where she is spring cleaning. There are lots of others with florals that you could probably say are spring. This one, which reminded me of Mother's Day, which happens in March, in the springtime here. It's actually already happened in the UK. This one with tulips. Tulips are a very spring flower to me. And I've got this as a buddy colour with Zoe. This one with the clovers. Doesn't look to be any four-leaf clovers in this page, so not quite so lucky, but those definitely give me the spring vibes, especially with St. Patrick's Day this month. And finally the cherry blossoms. Definitely a spring sort of page. Yeah, lots more floral pages that you could colour with a spring colour palette in Matchstick Mouse, a Floral Colouring Book. Then I found lots in Gnome Sweet Gnome by Teresa Goodridge. She's just come out with the new garden gnomes, which unfortunately is out of stock now on Amazon UK, but as soon as it comes back in stock, I am going to snatch it up. This one of them fishing in the river. It's a lovely spring scene. A sort of shoe house here with all the spring flowers around the outside. We've got the two gnomes sitting on a swing in what looks to be a spring garden. These smaller designs of some spring-looking gnomes. This one reminds me of the cover of Garden Gnomes. We've got gnome hanging the washing out to dry. The April showers page. Trimming the rose bush. Some hydrangea looking flowers down at the bottom. The spring greenhouse. This was such a fun page, would be beautiful to see coloured in. The spring path leading up towards the cottage. Another page with some hydrangea looking flowers. And final one, spring gardening setup. Looks like he's got his hands full, ready for planting his spring garden in Gnome Sweet Gnome by Teresa Goodrich. And I found a few in Serendipity by R.J. Hampson. I like how this book has a variety of seasons in it. It's also got like wintry pages in it, spring pages, summery pages. Good variety in this book. I thought this title page looked quite spring-like with all the florals surrounding it. This one with the blossoms. Obviously, cherry blossoms I associate with springtime. Bee page. Love this page. Probably my favourite one in this book. Actually, no, it might be this next one I'm about to show you. This one in the greenhouse. Oh, gosh. It's got some small details on it, but I just love it. Can't wait to colour that one. With the little raccoons. That was everything in Serendipity by R.J. Hampson. Then we've got Witches Around by Usiku. There's a few pages in here I thought looked spring-like. This one where they're sharing breakfast I thought looked like a quite spring scene. We've got them standing in the rain. Often happens in April. Or just all year round in the UK. Them sharing the tea amongst the cherry blossoms. Another super spring page. And finally for this book, a lovely spring looking wishing well. Absolutely gorgeous page. Yeah, that was Witches Around by Usiku. Next I've got Annie Day by Morgan O'Brien. I really love this book. Lots of spring themed sort of pages in this one. We've got her collecting flowers. Hanging up the washing in what looks like spring field with loads of dandelions. Gardening or flower arranging in her greenhouse. Standing outside in the rain, which definitely looks like a spring sort of shower. I thought this one with the porch swing looked quite spring-like with the blanket on it. Another one with the swing, I thought looked quite spring-like. And then this one of her feeding the little pig. This is so sweet. It reminds me of when I used to go to farms as a little kid and we got to feed the sheep there. Oh, that's so much fun. That's Annie Day by Morgan O'Brien. Next I've got the Mini Mania books by Gabby Wolfe. This is volume 1. We've got this floral small image page. This one with the mini plant pots. This one, which is my March Complete Mini Mania page. I'm in the process of finishing this one. I've done the marker base. I need to go over and shade with pencils. Got this one with the carrot field. Look quite spring-like. And this one with the farmyard animals hopping over the river. It's another spring page from the first Mini Mania book. And the second Mini Mania book has quite a lot of spring pages in that I could find. We've got the spring minis. Lots of spring themed images. Oh, just reposition that so you can see the whole thing. There we go. Another minis page. Lots of florals. The flower shop. Really love that page. This is my favourite page from the book. Sitting in the tree with the birds and the bees. I thought this one looked quite spring-like with the chickens, trimming the bushes outside and the flowers over the top of the roof of the house. And this one, the sort of bottle, Friend Forever, with clovers and hydrangeas in it. I think that will look really pretty completed. That was everything from Mini Mania Volume 2. Then I've got a couple books by Stratton Peterson. This one is Nature's Magic. And we've got this one here with all the blossoms and the bird with the locket. We've got this one called Sunshine Scent with all the daffodils. Always come out in the springtime. Another one with cherry blossoms, another bird on that one. And that was all the spring pages I could find from Nature's Magic. And then her newest book, Lunar Colouring, has a few spring themed pages in it. This one with the crow and the daffodils. This one with the blossoms and the flamingos. This one with the absolutely beautiful bee. This one with the rabbit that represents rebirth. And the glimmering stone with all the daffodils around it. Another super spring page. So that was Lunar Colouring by Stratton Peterson. Then my final stack of books are all my Lulu Mayo books. We're almost at the end. Got A Million Baby Animals. This one, I think you could say pretty much any of the pages are spring themed, with the idea of it being babies. I'm just going to give it a quick flick. As you could say, a lot of these. I think this one, especially with all the chicks in the egg carton, I think is very spring. Yeah, gorgeous book. I've got one whip in that I'll hopefully finish by the end of the month. A Million Sweet Things, or also known as A Million Kawaii Cuties. I thought this one with the critters sitting in the flowers was quite spring-like. And this one with all the animals in the trees with the blossoms around it. So just a couple in A Million Sweet Things. A few more in A Million Cute Animals. This one has lots of pages with blossoms in it, like this bunny one. Both of those pages are spring-like to me. Some more bunnies. I especially love this page with the one holding the carrot. That's my favourite one. I thought this dog looking out the window was very spring-like. I could imagine this in a lot of pinks. This one with the raccoon in the boat with the cherry blossom tree. Lady May has included a lot of cherry blossoms in this book. Another double page spread with cherry blossoms on both sides. These koalas I thought looked quite spring-like, and they are all super cute. I've seen this page coloured loads of times, and every time I see it I just love it. And finally these two bunnies. Beautiful spring flowers inside the bunnies. That was everything from A Million Cute Animals. Then I've got A Million Llamas. A few spring pages in this one. I thought both of these look quite spring-like. And then this basket of goodies has some very cute spring florals around the outside. Both of these pages with the florals on it look quite spring-like to me. And both of these as well. I'm actually doing this one as a buddy colour, which I hope to finish in the next week. That was A Million Llamas. Then A Million Unicorns. There was this page with the unicorn carousel and the blossoms over the top. This sort of wavy line design going across both pages with the florals in the background look quite spring-like to me. As well as this double page spread of beautiful florals with unicorns hiding in the garden. That's everything from A Million Unicorns. And finally, A Million Sloths. This one has quite a few trees with these small flowers in that I always just picture as spring pink floral trees. So I've tagged a lot of those. Oh, I didn't tag this one, but this one gives me spring vibes as well. I tagged this one with all the bunnies sleeping at the bottom, florals on the top of the trees, the blossoms. Oh, look at that little badger. This one with lots of hydrangeas, perfect for springtime. This one I've always pictured as a pink blossom tree, and you could do the same on the opposite side. And finally, this page with them swinging with all the florals surrounding them. So that is everything from my collection. I hope you enjoyed the video. It was a longer, chattier one again today. Let me know, what are your favourite spring pages? Whose illustrations did you like the best from this video? There's lots of options for people to colour from, lots of options for me to colour from. If you'd like to see me colour any of the pages, let me know in the description down below. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye everyone.